Hi. So today's the day I decided that I'm going to do my video about choosing or buying your wheelchair. And I'm not going to necessarily tell you a specific one. I might do one, but I'm not necessarily even going to recommend mine. Because selecting a wheelchair is like buying a computer. You walk out the door, there's others that are different and better. It's kind of like that. And I would like to just say buy this one. When I can do that, I'll let you know. I don't have one yet that I can say that about. However, that doesn't mean I don't use them. I do. There's just no perfect answer. And so, but what I want to do is help you to make that selection. That I can do. I can warn you. I can give you what you need to look at. But I guess what I want to say is the selection, and mostly I'm talking about foldable, lightweight travel ones. I'm not talking about if you're never going to travel, then you're going to look at, that's a whole different thing, and I can't do a video on that. I want my wheelchairs to do both. I go every couple months to see my grandchildren. I have to travel with a wheelchair. So I'm talking about the ultra light carbon fiber is the new thing now. You can get the ones that are a little heavier, that's up to you. But how do we make that selection? And what you end up with, I don't know. I like just now before I was going to start this video, I thought I'm just going to look up on YouTube and just on the general what's the top 5 recommended for 2025, let's say. Well, 3 sites. It was different. None of mine was on it, but when I was looking, mine were, but they change. You just look, it's like, I don't know, I look for the other household items I want to buy, and I look at the top 5, and then 6 months later, it's something else. So you really have to think about what you really want. What is it that you're looking for? Because that's going to tell you what your parameter is going to be, right? And really, my problem is I had never traveled with a wheelchair. How the heck do I know what to buy? There's, how you're going to take care of it, So what I was looking for, I thought about it. I want a travel chair. I want it to be lightweight, so we're talking carbon fiber now, but there's others. My other one is not carbon fiber, and I use it. Stability, when I'm running around like on uneven ground, the stability. Battery life, I don't want to keep changing it. Sorry, but I like color. I am not buying a black, white, or blue chair. I'm not. I want it feminine, so I picked the ones, that have color to them. And that's to my downfall, I'll tell you that right now. And also repairs. Who's gonna, what's my number one? And we don't often think of repairs or maintenance when we buy something because we think, oh, it's got a warranty, it's got this and that. But actually making something do that when you're disabled is a whole different story, okay? And I try to tell people, if you're disabled, you need to make friends with your local wheelchair mobility medical supply place. Near me in Southern California, it's Alpine. But there's many around me. I just have good luck with them. You need to have and they usually carry these wheelchairs, okay? If you have a really good medical supply, that you like them, you have to like the people. Make sure they're being straight with you. Get that relationship. That's vital for anybody who's disabled. You have to have a relationship with those people, and you have to feel they're doing right by you. Till you find that, doesn't have to even be close to you, you use them. Then, of course, which I use is online, which is not always the best idea, but that's because I'm picky, I guess. I don't know. I do it to my detriment, I guess, is what we're going to say. So buying these ultralights, they're expensive. My last wheelchair was $2,580. They're not $200 or $300. And you can't find a lot of these ultralights on secondhand. They're just not available yet. So we're talking a high end, though I've paid more than that for my wheelchairs before. So you have to know your budget. So I guess the first thing is your budget. What are you willing to pay? Then I'm saying travel, we want the weight, carbon fiber would be your weight. Now, so I've been on this hunt for years and years and years. This is now my 3rd chair. Electric kind of wheelchair, self-propelled. And I get online and I start researching and I use YouTube and I do all of that. And I don't necessarily think that after I do all that, I win. I don't know. And here is, because I like color, It's to my detriment, because one of the best chairs I feel that's made doesn't necessarily come in colors. I would like them to do that, please. When I name them, we'll talk about it. The first chair I ever got, doesn't fold, can't take it anywhere, weighs 1,100,000 pounds, was a Jazzy Pride Air. It went up and down this way, and it was what, $7,000 or something, four or five, I don't know. It was expensive, and but it was rigid, and it was for around here, and you didn't take it anywhere. But then I went into the travel mode, and that's when I decided, now, if you really want to make sure that you want to know what your repairs are right there, somebody's going to stand behind you. I bought that very expensive Jazzy Air that goes up and down. They have stood by me. They've come out and taken care of it 100%. My money went the right place. Then I didn't buy my next chair from them. I bought a Fold and Go, came out of Texas. Two funny things. Great chair. Really very difficult support, okay? And so if you really feel like you want to be able to have, because when you look online and they say, we 100% support, you know, this is all good, we're right there to do repair, I want you to think about that. This chair that you're ordering online could be a great chair. They mail it to you and they say, oh, you know, we stand behind it, we have 100% this and that. And what they mean is that you can, two things, they have a thing where you call in. They give you a number, not even the people that sold it to you necessarily, another firm. And then they found out when you bought it, and they tell them what's wrong with you, and they'll have a video call, and they'll tell you how to fix it. Now, to be honest, it's usually an easy fix. I'll be honest with you, usually. But I can't do that. I can't get under my chair. I have to have somebody do that. I didn't realize that when I did that, but I had a grandson, he did it. Or in a case of the one I just bought, which was I just bought a Matrix Ultra. They just there was a problem. We just couldn't get this chair to go. And I just folded it. I didn't have to put it in anything. A friend of mine, we went over to the place where they mail it. I just brought it in, wasn't in a box. They took it away, and a week or two later, they sent it back, and it was working. I cannot fault that. That was giving me customer service. Now, it wasn't right away, but I had another chair. I had my Fold and Go. So that worked for me. But when they say they 100% stand behind it, if you're ordering it online, think, I don't know that they send somebody out. If they tell you, ask that question. When you mean you're giving me, does that mean you have a local repair person that comes out to my home? I'm disabled. How am I going to get it there? Now, when I work with my local medical supply, they have a guy that comes out. But I didn't buy my foldable chair from them. I don't know if that was my mistake. I guess maybe I should have. But here's the thing. They are a dealer. They represent Pride. That was my first rigid chair. Now, Pride is a wonderful, wonderful company. I cannot fault them in any way, except they don't make colors enough. Come on, let's get colorful, Pride. They make an ultralight chair. They do. And it's always listed. Every time I look at the top 5, the top whatever, Pride will be listed. Sometimes you'll hear them say, you know, different ones like Feather and Golden and Vivor and all these other names, but you're going to hear Pride. And there's usually a dealer. And also, whenever you find a brand that you think you like, see if you can find a dealer in your area before you order it online, because they're going to stand behind the product. So if you don't care that much about color like I do, start with Pride. That's the only recommendation, because you can find a dealer, I'm sure, near you. They're going to stand behind it if you like this group, and Pride makes a great lightweight. Find it, use it, and then listen to my other videos about how you travel with it. And their battery will be okay for the airlines. You can ask Pride. They make sure. But you have to be careful when you buy a chair, a travel chair. Travel how? It has to be Travel Air. In other words, a lighter battery, because they make a heavier, most of these models, they'll make a heavier duty battery. It's too heavy to travel with airlines. They don't necessarily make it. And then they'll say, well, we have a travel version. You want that, okay? Because that's already been checked out. And so if I'm going to give you any recommendation, even though I haven't bought it, I bought the first one, remember, but I have not bought a travel one from Pride. When they start getting colors, I will. So then, you know I'm not going to do that, so I bought my last online. And there was negatives I found out as I did it. First of all, how's it going to get repaired? Now, the Ultra that I bought, the Fold and Go, excuse me, really it was not a lightweight, but it was 52, 54 pounds. It has great big long life I love their battery power. I have the same batteries I had and I bought I don't know how many years ago. However, I have not been able to get replacements very easily. First, they want me to make an appointment. They're not going to just send you a battery. Oh no, they have to talk to you. You have to have them talk about the battery. And they just won't send it. Others just send you a battery. You just buy a battery. Why would they need to talk to you? Because they don't have a lot of batteries. I think they're having problems with the supply chain. But why wouldn't you just sell me a battery? They have all this reasoning, but it makes no sense. Now my other one, my Matrix Ultra, they send me a battery. Now they're not cheap, but they send me, I have 3 now. I won one I answered a questionnaire and I got a free battery. Yay, yay for Ultra Matrix. So now I have 3 batteries. Now the difference between my 2, my Fold and Go, and my Matrix Ultra is I don't get a lot of battery length of time in that second chair because they're smaller batteries. I should have realized. So if I'm at Disneyland, maybe about 4 hours, I got to change out a battery. The Fold and Go lasts forever. They're big, long battery. They last forever. I don't know if they're still using that same long battery, but they're great. None of my travel chairs, I will tell you, I think are stable enough. When I get over it, maybe like the Ultra that I have, if there's even a little bit of a curve like this, it doesn't want to go over it because it's got too small wheels. I usually have to back over it or somebody help me. I do not feel that either of my chairs is, if it's a brick kind of walkway that I'm on, it's wobbly. None of them are. Now I haven't tried the Pride, but I think because they're travel, they're all going to be the same thing. So if you're traveling in Europe, it's going to be if you got much of a curb, it doesn't want to do it. You have somebody near you. But if you get a bigger wheeled travel chair, maybe a little heavier, or bigger, I think they have the bigger wheels, but with the batteries it will do all terrain. And I thought mine was all terrain. I thought that's what it said. It showed it in the videos that it was going on grass, but I don't feel I feel it's rickety. Because I can't go up anything. If it's got any kind of a ridge, it gives me trouble or throws me to the side. So one nice thing is if you can go into a dealer and they have it on the show and you take it outside if they'll let you, or give it back if you don't like it, or ask them about it. But that's an issue for me. But I don't have it. I have to make do. I can't find it because you have to trade off. I really need it to be light and travel, and maybe the light and travel means it's not going to be that steady on all terrain. So I don't know. I just know that I bought what I bought. Now, nobody comes to my home to fix it. I have to call them, but I only had a couple issues. I have, as much as I'm complaining, they have handled it for me. Now, and really with the Ultra Matrix, or Matrix Ultra, excuse me, mailing it back was easy. It really was easy. I just took it into this, I had somebody go with me and we just walked into this mailing place and they were all ready to take it. I didn't have to box it or anything. And that was phenomenal, I think. But I would still say that it's not very stable. It's okay, but it doesn't want to do, like when I want to go off on like sawdust or something at sporting, like for my grandson where he plays soccer. It's kind of got like sawdust in it. It's got a problem, but I want to go there. It's not that thick or anything. So that's an issue I don't know how to solve. So I guess what I'm telling you is when you're going to think about buying your first chair that you're going to travel with. Now, this is not a discussion of buying chairs in general. First of all, they're expensive. Know that. You get a cheap one, you're going to get what you pay for. Look at Pride first. Just start with it. And then look at 2 more. I always look at 3. And if you're going to go and do the online where you order it, they mail it to you. It's fine. And if it doesn't work, I guess you mail it back. That's the trade-off when you do this mail-in. But sometimes you can find dealers near you. So you have to make that first decision. Do I want to go dealer only? Then you're limited. My guy does Pride. I don't think they do anybody else. I'll have to ask them. Online, there's a million names. And sometimes I figured out they're the same chairs. They're ordering these frames from the same place in Europe somewhere, or Japan, wherever, China, whatever. And then they're putting decals on them. For instance, my Fold and Go is a very similar frame to several others. Skyhawk, I think, or something like that looks the same. In fact, When I couldn't get a charging battery for it, I called. I called the Matrix Ultra people, and this is before I even bought a chair from them, and they sold me a very nice charger. They said, "Oh yeah, as long as the little piggy things on the end are the same, it'll, lithium ion are going to charge. It didn't have to be their chair, because I couldn't get a charger from Fold and Go. It was during the pandemic or COVID thing, and they just couldn't. Not necessarily faulting them there. But I could get one I just called them. I said, I don't have your wheelchair, but I'm desperate for a charger. And that's when I thought about them when I went to get my next chair, because I thought they stood by me and sold me and were very nice to me. And they still have continued to be nice to me. I just don't think that those smaller batteries have the length that I would like them to have. I wish they were more. But then again, they're smaller batteries. So, what are you going to ask? I think they do the length that they're telling me. I just wanted it to be the same as my other chair, but it isn't. There's always a give and a take. So I'm rambling here. I don't know how much I'm rambling, but I'm trying to give you the idea. No, I didn't say buy this, 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 and this, because in 5 or 6 months that can change. Carbon fiber are the new future. So this is what you want to look at. If you want a little more sturdier frame and you have somebody that can help lift it easily, I don't. All my friends are older. I want it easier. Even for my kids, I'd like it to be easier to lift it. My caregiver, a little bit easier. I do have somebody that helps me in my home. So, give and take, right? If you can do the 54 pounds, I think that 54 is without the batteries, I'm not sure. Then you can get a heavier one, and maybe that's a little more sturdy. Go to your local medical supply place. They're going to have wheelchairs there. Get in them, try them. Ask them what is their repair policy? Will they come to your home? You don't think about a repair until you do need it. Now, when the airline does something to your chair, that's a different thing. I have a video about it. I found right now that they're really responding. At least Southwest did. And also, I think United did too. They have a company now they hire that comes right out, and I'll do a video about that too. They were just very responsive. So I think that that's a different issue when they damage it. I would think about maybe using the travel bag. Think about when they offer you a travel bag or even the suitcase. That's a little more expensive, of course, because maybe that's a thing. If you listen to my other video that I made about flying with the batteries, I do talk about maybe traveling now with a case or a bag, because maybe that's going to protect it better, because it just does. So I hope this has been of any help. If you're thinking about it, I'm giving you some issues to think about. So just to go back over, make a list of what are your top priorities. And if you're brand new to a wheelchair, maybe you don't know yet. So you have to think about it, look at it, go out and try them before you buy, okay? And then once you've done that, I would tell you to first research Pride. I'm not telling you to buy that, but let's make that the base is what we do. Even though I told you I won't buy it because it doesn't have color, that's my problem, not yours. And then look for 2 or 3 others online. Then make a decision whether you can deal with an online type of repair, whether you could go, use a Zoom and they can tell you, and you can send it back easily, but you just like that chair. Think about that. And then what you can tolerate, and then make your purchase. But at least you've done it. What I didn't know, nobody told me this. I have 2 chairs now. I like each of them for a different reason. They're not perfect. They're not. And I'm waiting for that lightweight chair that is. I really want to find it. Maybe I'll get a Pride eventually when they come up with. Then I was thinking, well, maybe I'll just take their chair and paint it. That would solve it. I could get them and then I could just paint it the color I wanted. I don't know why I haven't done that. I'm being silly, I know, but I just think that disabled. I don't want to be the same. I want to have color, and I just like that. I don't want to be stayed for my disability. I just like the fact that color shows me. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Please remember, can you give me a little thumbs up? I know it's really hard for people to remember. I'm not monetized, but it does help the channel. Can you do a thumbs up? And if you have any questions that you'd like further, let me know. I will eventually get in one of my chairs and do a video outside showing all the ways that it works. But I really don't want to sell that particular wheelchair. I guess that's the problem. I want you to kind of look at it for yourself. And it is kind of scary because we're paying a lot of money, right? But at least I'm giving you an idea of what to think before you actually go out and purchase. Bye. I would like to add something to the video I just made, an addendum, I guess you'd call it. If it's possible, give this a think, and I've been thinking about this myself. Before you actually buy any wheelchair online, maybe even if you buy it in the store, you could do the same thing. You know how you say, oh, what is your repair policy, or how do I, and then, oh yeah, and then they tell you with their words. How many times have you done that with something you bought for your house and you went back to get product repair and then it wasn't there, was it? They would give you, and then I've had things I bought that have given me lifelong, practically, they stood behind their guarantee. So how can we kind of see if we're going to get that? And I gave this a thought, but I don't know exactly how to tell you to do it, I guess. When you finally chose that chair, and you've asked them every question, why don't you see if you can somehow pretend that you've got a chair that's got something wrong with it? Like you're going to call in. Find out what happens. See if you can go through that process. Is it a big, long hang up? They take your name. They never call you back. When they maybe find some way you can pre-trial it. I don't know if that's possible. And if you do, would you please let me know on this channel? Because I thought about it, but I didn't actually do it before I bought my chairs. Because we just take the warranty. We say, well, you're good. If I had good service before, then I can go with that. But when you're buying online, you don't know. And they say, oh, we have this. But you haven't actually tried it. So find a way to do that if you can. Because I think service, you don't think about when you're buying it. You think about it a little bit. But actually getting it, I think we need to give more thought to that. So see what you can do.